So indie movies or independent cinema is, I could say, what made me fall in love with movies in the first place. As a teen, in the blockbuster days, I would always go for the low budget cinema, the independent cinema. The movies that they only had like two, three copies of. Those movies that had like the list of all the awards that they have won at like festival circuits and stuff like that. I would like, the bigger movies too, like the latest Will Smith movie or the latest Bruce Willis movie too. But I was always drawn to independent cinema and, your 13s, your Mean Creeks, your Undertows, just films that were more under the radar. I just found them so much more entertaining, more thrilling, more captivating. They just they were my thing. I've always been the underdog with what I've been into, and musically and just everything. I've always been into like the more underground stuff, and there was always something about independent cinema that I just loved the acting more. It was so much more personal, and they always hit harder. They hit harder than mainstream blockbuster films. They just do. Take Me to the River, I've never heard of until I popped in a film the other day and was watching the trailers. And I'm watching the trailers, and I watched the trailer for Take Me to the River, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. I'm going to go look for Take Me to the River. And I went to Tubi, and Take Me to the River's on Tubi. I'm like, we're watching Take Me to the River, that's it. And I fucking loved it. It was dark, grim, fucked up, hard to watch, very gives you and puts you into an uncomfortable mood, which a lot of independent cinema does. And I don't know. I guess that's what I've been drawn to as a teen is those movies that really give you that unsettling feeling. This is directed by a guy named Matt Sobel, and I'm pretty sure it is his directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm gonna spoil the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, and if you like independent cinema, it's a gut punch. So I recommend you go check it out yourself before you continue on this review, because I am going to be talking about spoilers. It is a drama. It's a full drama, and it's kind of one of those dramas that does leave you with questions. It doesn't answer everything. There's a lot that you kind of have to interpret yourself, and it's very interesting, and it's very unsettling to watch. So, this family from California, which is two parents and their kid, is visiting a family reunion in Nebraska, basically. And they are driving down, and they are going to this country, like the country, basically. This family lives in the country. I believe it's the mother's brother. It's either the mother's brother or cousin, but I think the mom and this guy who lives in the country are brother and sister, if I'm not mistaken. And they go to the family reunion. They're all a bunch of very, country folk, like very conservative. You could say redneck. They're just, they're pure country. They drive trucks. They your stereotypical country living people. And they go to this family reunion. The boy, who's the son of the mom and dad traveling to Nebraska from California, announces right at the beginning of the movie that he's gay, and he's not ashamed of it. He has nothing to hide. He wears these really like short red shorts through the whole film, and he doesn't care about being judged, kind of thing. He's just himself. And they're at this family reunion, and of course everybody's looking at him like he's straight out of the city. Um, the little girl, the little girl of the father who lives in the country, her name is Molly. She's a 9-year-old girl, and she warms up to Ryder is his name, the gay kid. Um, she really warms up to him. She likes him. She, wants to spend time with him. She feels comfortable around him. They go to the barn. They hang out there. That she wants to like go on his shoulders on a piggyback kind of thing. And then it it goes to the next scene, and she's running towards the house again where they're having the family reunion, and she's screaming, and she has a red spot on her dress, around her like groin area, and the father freaks out, and it turns into this huge situation. And Ryder's like, I don't know, we were playing, and she just started screaming, and he goes all conservative mode, and he just he just blows his shit kind of thing. Obviously Ryder is gay, and Molly's his cousin, and he's not a pervert, and she's 9 years old, so nothing happened. But the father, I forget his name. I forget what his name is, but the father just causes a huge scene, like keep your son away from my daughter and all that stuff. Ryder goes back into the house. He just grabs him by the neck and like tosses him out the door again. And he's like, I told you to keep him away from his daughter." It just turns into this huge family dilemma. And then the mom like basically doesn't know what to do from there. The family asks the kid to Ryder to sleep in the like barn or something. It it's it's fucked. And then it gets weirder from there, because the father of this little girl Molly, he also has three other daughters, all around, between like 6 and 10, 11 kind of thing. He invites Ryder by himself over for dinner, and Ryder is very skeptical about this because he thinks like this guy's trying to scare him or something. Like, why would he invite him to dinner the next day? Or lunch, it is actually. And he goes over, and this guy's just fucking with him. Like, he's so passive aggressive. I really didn't like this father. I understand his reactions and everything. Like, I see where he's coming from, but he's going about it the wrong way. Ryder also goes about it the wrong way a lot, in a very immature way. He spends way too much time alone with Molly, which he shouldn't. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to kind of, there's this tension between them. And, there's clearly a tension with the father, because during lunch, the whole time at the table, he's just asking Ryder these weird questions like, "So, out of my little girls, who do you think is the oldest?" Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, just guess. And it's just a weird question. It's just an uncomfortable, tense situation. And after lunch, he tells Ryder to go see Molly's room, so Molly can show Ryder her trophy that she won for a horse race or something. And he goes, and one of the little sister follows them into Molly's room, and he goes and he's like, the father's like, "Hey, Jenny," or whatever her name is, "come on, let's go. Let's leave Ryder and Molly alone." And he closes the door. So it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is his motivation? Like, it's just so weird. And Molly too, like, she's a 9-year-old girl, but she has this like maturity to her. The way she talks and speaks, it's like she's already feeling kind of grown up. And like I said, Ryder is just digging himself into a hole, because he shouldn't be escalating this situation with this very conservative, very hot-headed father whose motivations are just, I don't know what the hell he's doing. And then there's this scene where he calls Ryder out to the porch, and he's teaching Ryder how to fire a gun, and he's teaching him about the safety and everything. And he's you can clearly tell he is threatening Ryder. He's literally threatening Ryder, but making it seem like he's teaching Ryder how to fire a gun, and he is just intimidating the fuck out of Ryder. And he's like, "You look like a guy who's like never held a gun before." He's like, when you hold a gun and you're feeling threatened, really threatened, you feel safe. You feel like you can protect your family. If your family's really being threatened. You know what I mean? And he doesn't stop staring. He has this stare, and he's always giving this pretending to be friendly but clearly threatening stare every time he looks at Ryder, and I'm surprised Ryder went to lunch in the first place. But it's just a really well directed and well written, tense film that is just filled with these situations that you just you're on the edge of your seat wondering what it's gonna lead to, kind of thing. After lunch and after that whole gun scenario, he goes with Molly horseback riding again, and they go to the river, and then Molly wants to go swimming with Ryder and everything. And again, you're just feeling uncomfortable because you know that Ryder's innocent. Like, you know that he has no malintent. He's a good kid, but he's putting himself in the fire, and he shouldn't be. And the choices he makes are just like he's kind of trying to get himself out of the situation, but at the same time feeling stuck in the situation. And the Molly, the little girl, I mean, she's just acting like a 9-year-old girl. She just likes Ryder and wants to go swimming and play and have fun and likes her cousin, kind of thing. Nothing weird goes on, but every time the father reacts and what he does, and the situations get weird because of everybody's behavior. It's a movie to discuss, just like a really great book. It's short too. It's an hour and 24 minutes, and it's one of those films that just it stays with you. It lingers, like great independent cinema usually does. And like I said, just like a great book, it's a film to be discussed and talked about. And there's a lot of meaning to everything that's said. There's these two boys too, which are part of the family, and they're straight up like country redneck, and they're constantly low key threatening Ryder after this whole situation. Somebody, it's not shown who or told who, but somebody spray paints on the parents' car, "Go home, California pervert" in black paint, and it turns into a horrible situation where this family is now on a farm with other family, and tensions rise, and it's it's an uncomfortable watch. It's like you are actually feeling what the characters are feeling. You're feeling very uncomfortable, and it does raise a lot of questions from the audience, like what would you do in this situation, like with everybody, with the mom, like if you're in the mom's shoes, if you're in the dad's shoes, if you're in the kid's shoes, if you're in the conservative brother's shoes, the father of Molly, what would you do? The gun scene was my favorite though, because he's he's purposely being a passive aggressive asshole, and when you're involving a loaded weapon and you're teaching the kid how to defend himself, when quite clearly he's meaning himself, like, you fuck with my family, I'll shoot you. That's what he really means, and is in the undertones of his words. It's great. Take Me to the River is a masterpiece. Well, that's a stretch, but it's a great underrated hidden gem that I'm glad I found. And from, when I really got into cinema when I was like 14, 15 years old, these are the types of films that I would always what's the word? I can't even graduate to. These are the films that I would always lean into, basically. These are the films that would get my attention, and these are the films that I loved. I love independent cinema, and I will always, always love independent cinema because it's so raw. They're just raw. They're raw films. They feel real and they're great. Like the examples that I mentioned at the beginning too. 13, great fucking movie that I discovered as a teen, and that's the kind of independent cinema I'm talking about. And they're the best. They are the best when it comes to real performances and real direction. It's the low key films, the ones at festival circuits that I love, and that's just the way I am as a cinema fan. So, Take Me to the River was a huge, huge win for me, and it's on Tubi if you want to check it out. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already, and stay tuned for what's coming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care and cheers.